Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. So we are from group 6 and today we are presentation. Our discussion, the material is about conversation and preference structure. And first, let me introduce our group member. There is Aulia Nur Fadilla, Anissa Ikhsan, Azka, Hawa, Alaida, and Muhammad Fahriza. Next. So the topic material we're gonna discuss labs and back channels, and then conversational style, and adjacency pairs, and the last is preference structure. Okay, without any further ado, let's go to the first material.
Okay. The first topic is pauses, overlaps, and back channels. What is pauses? You know that pauses actually is a transitions with a long silence between turns. Pauses can be a simple hesitation or silence. We can see the example in George Yule book, page 73, number 1. There is the conversation between Mr. Straight and Dave. Mr. Straight said, "What's your major, Dave?" "English." "Well, I haven't really decided yet." "So, you want to be a teacher?" "No, not really. Well, not if I can help it." Here, we can see that there is a dash sign, which indicates that there is a pauses. Next. And then overlaps. Overlaps. Smooth transition from one speaker to the next seem to be valued. Transition with a long silence between turns or with substantial. So overlap is both speaker trying to speak at the same time. For the example, there is the conversation between Joe and Jerry. When they were in Powerless, and when Joe hadn't finished speaking, Jerry immediately said, "That's my point." I said, "Wait, can I finish?" So in example 4, the speakers may appear to be having a discussion, but they are in fact competing for the floor. The point at which overlap occurs is treated as an interruption, and the first speaker actually has to make a comment about procedure with a louder voice shown by the capital letters in "Can I finish?" rather than about the topic of conversation.
Okay, the next is back channels. In all cases, they are used to get the regular exchange of turn process suspended and allow one speaker to have an extended turn. Within an extended turn, however, speakers still expect their conversational partner to indicate that they are listening. There are many different ways of doing this, including head nods, smiles, and other facial expression and gesture. But the most common focal indication are called back-channel signal or simply back channels. Some of these are present in Mary's contribution to example 7 on book George, George Yule book on the page 75. There is conversation about Keller and Mary. If you use your long distance service a lot, then you'll be interested in the discount I'm talking about because yeah, it can only save your money to switch to a cheaper service. Mm. These types of signal like yeah, provide feedback to the current speaker that the message is being received. They normally indicate that the listener is following and not objecting to what the speaker is saying. Given this normal expectation, the absence of back channels is typically interpreted as significant. During telephone conversation, the absence of back channels may prompt the speaker to ask if the listener is still there. During face-to-face interaction, else interpret as way of leading to an inference of this silence is significant and will be interpreted as meaningful. Okay, the next topic is will be presented by Fahriza.
Conversation style, according Giorgio, uh, there are two styles. The first is high involvement style, and the second is high considerateness style. In high involvement style, Giorgio identifies high involvement style as one of the conversational style that can be observed in verbal interaction. In high involvement style, participation in conversation tends to be active with a rapid rate of talk, little or no pause between turns, and there may be overlap or completion of other turns. This reflects the speaker's high level of involvement in this conversation. In this style, speakers often express their opinions forcefully, engage in the conversation with energy, and may try to take charge or lead the direction of the conversation. They tend to respond quickly to turns given to them and may feel uncomfortable with long pause in conversation. And the second is high considerateness style. According Giorgio, this style is one of the conversational style that can be observed in verbal interaction. In this style, speakers tend to use a slower rate of speech, expect longer pause between turns, avoid overlapping or finishing another turn, and pay attention to the needs and preferences of their interlocutor. And in this style, speakers show concern for the feelings and need of other in the conversation. They may give interlocutor more space to speak, respect their turn, and try not to interrupt other talks. Next slide. And the next topic is adjacency style. Yachio defines adjacency pair as a language pair that are closely related conversation where the response of one is shallow, by the response of the other naturally. This creates a consistent pattern in the verbal interaction between speaker. And this concept highlight that in conversation there is often an ordered structure where one communicative act triggers another. Example include the question and the answer. You can see below there are three examples. The first is question and answer. The second is comments and acknowledgement, and the third is offer and accept or reject. Uh, Maybe the next topic will be presented by my friend.
Yeah, the last topic is preference structure. And what is preference actually? The term preference is used to indicate a socially determined structural pattern and does not refer to any individual's mental or emotional desires. And in this technical use of the word, preference is an observed pattern in talk and as you can see in the picture, uh, this is the general patterns of preferred and dispreferred structures. As you can see, preference structure divides into two parts. There are first part, which is the jenis kalimat, and the second part is the response. And Giorgio divides the second part into
preferred and dispreferred social acts. The preferred is the structurally expected next act, and the dispreferred is the structurally unexpected next act. And for example, in this example, as you can see, the first part is the sentence, which can you help me? And the second part is the response. Sure. Want some coffee? Yes, please. Isn't that really great? Yes, it is. Maybe we could go for a walk. That would be great. And in considering requests or offers as first part, acceptance is the preferred and refusal is this preferred second part. In examples, the response in each second part are or represent preferred. Thus, acceptance or agreement is the preferred second part response to a request according example 15 for A, an offer, B, an assessment, C, and or proposal. And imagine each of the first part being met with silence. We might say that in any adjacency pair, silence in the second part is always an indication of a dispreferred response. Silence as a response is an extreme case because it is almost risking the impression of non-participation in the conversational structure. When participants have to produce second part response that are dispreferred, they indicate that they are doing something very marked. Hesitations and prefaces are also found in dispreferred second parts to invitation, as often is of the expression of the refusal, especially a dispreferred second, can be accomplished without actually saying no. And from a pragmatic perspective, the expressions of a preferred in response to an offer or invitation, for example, clearly represents closeness and quick connection. And the best way to avoid this preferred second part is not to get to the point where first part of the pair is uttered. And maybe saya kembalikan ke
Okay, everyone, maybe that's all the material that can be delivered for today. Please forgive us if there are any mistakes, and if you have any question, you can ask us in the class. So thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.